Go
This is Revelations 13 and 10. 9.
Get 2 and 25. 2 and 25.
I got Corinthians 12 as well.
Get 2 and 25.
Revelation 2:25. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come.
No, this is the New Testament. This is the New Testament. This is not the Old Testament, it's the New Testament. Read that again.
So Revelation 2 verse 25. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come.
Till I come in and till our Messiah comes, right? Go ahead.
And it says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
To him will I give power over the nations. Go ahead.
And it says, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
And we're going to rule over them with a rod of iron. All over these nations, the Arabs, the Chinese, the East Indians, all these other kindreds, peoples and tongues of the earth, we're going to rule over them in the kingdom of our heaven. Go ahead.
As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers.
So we're going to break them. We're going to break these nations because they're not going to submit willfully. We're going to have to take the kingdom by force. Because that's how so-called white people took the kingdom. You took your kingdom. You conquered round the planet Earth all people and subjugated them to you. Go ahead.
Even as let me read that again. Verse 27. Ye shall rule over them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father.
So why would it say that if God loved everybody? If the New Testament was about God loving everybody, why would it say that he that overcometh and keepeth my works to the end, to him will I give power over the nations, to rule over them with a rod of iron, like a potter, like a vessel broken? That's how we're going to break the nations. Why would it say that if God loves everybody? If Jesus coming back to bring love to everybody, and why would it say that a certain people that have faith in him, that endure to the end, they're going to be given power? So give me on Revelations 13.
Can I sit here? Your message.
No,
I don't agree with you.
Okay, no.
Let's go Revelations 13.
Go.
Revelations 13 and 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
You got to listen. If they say go, let them go. Don't try and force the spirit. You don't force the spirit.
If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Right. So yeah, that's the faith of the saints. That saints is the Israelites. They're not going to agree because it's not given to them to believe. You know, really was just when they told them their judgment. What we did was cool. We was going to tell them their judgment. That's pretty much it. You know what I mean? But yeah, the scripture says, there's the faith and the patience of us. He that keepeth the Lord's works unto the end. You know what I mean? He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So Esau, his judgment was to rule by the sword and to ultimately be killed by the same sword that was given to him for a blessing, man. That basically he was condemned. That was a condemnation that Isaac gave to his first son. He basically gave him the blessing of condemnation, man. You know what I'm saying? And then he said, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Huh?
The photograph this.
Of course, yeah. So what did Paul say to his epistle that he wrote to the Galatians? He said, the Most High is not mocked. That whatsoever a man sow,
That surely also.
Yes.
he's going to have to reap that, man.
That's the sign.
Oh, just the sign, sorry.
No, draw us a
Alright, cheers guys.
This is 1 Corinthians 12. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I will not have you ignorant. You know that you were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. Wherefore I give you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of the Most High calleth Yahawashi accursed. And that this is 1 Corinthians 12. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. You know that you were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols,
Yes.
even as ye were led.
Yeah, so guess what, man? Like the elder was saying, we should have just told them their judgment, but the only reason I asked them, you know, is because we were talking about the image of the Lord, man. You know, but guess what? Jesus Christ, as the world knows it, is a dumb idol, man.
Yeah.
You know, the Jesus Christ that this world knows is nothing but a dumb idol, man. All right, because that's not his name and that is not his image. All right, so when you worship or respect that, all right, you're giving worship and respect unto who? Unto an idol, man. You know, go on.
Yeah.
You know that you are Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. Therefore I speak to your you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of the Most High calleth Yahawashi accursed.
As the elder was saying, when great people, when you can relate to great people, it makes you feel better about yourself, man. So if we knew, if our people knew that we look like the Most High, we are the people of the Most High. You know, his son, the greatest person ever to walk the earth, he's actually our big brother. We would have a completely different mindset, man. For the so-called white man, which are the Edomites, to come to us and then try to put us in slavery from that, man, we would tell them, man, who the hell do you think you are, man? Do you not know who my God is? who my power is? You know, that's why the Lord had to wipe away our nationality and our name from us in this captivity that we went through, man.
Yeah.
Because that was the key. That was the key to getting out of slavery and oppression. Was simply for us just turning back to the Heavenly Father.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's what, when you read the book of Judges, it said that when we was afflicted, that's in Psalms too, that Most High brought us down, we called on the name of the Lord, and then he delivered us out of all our troubles. But when we were in captivity, we didn't have his name. So we were stuck in captivity. Do you get what I'm saying? So we couldn't be delivered. It's only the mercy of the Most High put the Spirit, the scripture says the Spirit of life entered into them and they stood upon their feet. So the Most High worked a work that no man can consider, man. I think that's in Habakkuk. Behold, I work a work in your days that ye shall not consider even if it was told you. You know what I'm saying?
Even in, I'm trying to find it, but in 1 Kings, the 8th chapter, Solomon said, if all Israel were to turn and to pray to the Lord, he would forgive us, man. You know, so as the brother, the Bible was saying, look, if you take away the name and who we are, we can't turn to the Lord, right? So, in fact, let me get it, man. This is 1 Kings chapter 8, and I'll start from verse 31. If any man trespass against his neighbor and an oath be laid upon him to cause him to swear the oath, let me go down a bit. So this is verse 33. When thy people Israel shall be smitten down before the enemy, because they have sinned against thee, and shall turn again to thee and confess thy name, and pray and make supplication to thee in this house, then hear thou in heaven and forgive the sin of thy people Israel, and bring them again unto the land which thou gavest to their fathers. So in this captivity that we served, all right, the Lord took away the name. Because if we just said, oh, Yahawah, Shem Yahawashi, forgive us, the Lord would take away these Edomites from off us, man. Or the Lord would make us do battle with these Edomites and beat them down. And we'll be cool again because we turn to our power. But the Lord saw it was a reoccurring issue. That they turn to me, they turn away from me. They turn to me, they turn away from me. So the Lord said, okay, this time I'm going to take away the key. I'm going to take away my name. I'm going to take away the holy temple, which is the understanding of the scriptures, man.
And you know what, too, it makes sense, because if Israel was going to go off there and do good and then they go off again, then it was reasonable for the Lord to just take the name away, because the name equals what? Salvation, right?
Right.
So when we call on the name, the Lord would have to, he would have to feel, moved, which he's the Most High, but he would have to feel moved to deliver us from our condition. So basically, because we don't have the name, the Lord just wanted us to be on timeout for a while, so that we can then repent and realize what we've done wrong, so to speak. That's why it says in the land, somebody, just real quick, brother, somebody give me Hosea 1 verse 10. It says in Hosea that we would be in a land that it was called that we are not the sons of God.
I've got this one little precept.
Okay.
This is the prophet Jeremiah 44 verse 26. Therefore hear ye the word of Yahawah, all Judah that dwell in the land of Egypt. Behold, I have sworn by my great name, saith Yahawah, that my name shall no more be named in the mouth of any man of Judah,
Right.
or the land of Egypt,
Right.
saying the Lord God liveth.
And that's not talking about ancient Egypt, because in ancient Egypt we knew the name of the Lord. So what particularly Egypt is this talking about? This is talking about the Egypt that we're serving right now. This is modern day Egypt. So in this modern day Egypt, the name would be also discontinued, because it also says in Jeremiah 17. Go on, brother.
This is Jeremiah 17:4. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage
Yeah.
that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
Right, so instead of serving the Lord, because we no longer have the name, as we just read, which was a part of our heritage, we would have to serve these other nations. Okay? And this is why Jake, for the longest time in this captivity, had been looking up to Esau. Okay? Like he was saying earlier before to those Edomites up there, how our people inspired to be like Edomites.
Yeah.
Why? Because they don't have an ephod, they don't have an image, they don't have the name of the Lord. You understand? So, and the Lord is only concerned with the elect.
Yeah.
So the Lord is bringing his spirit back all over again, reconciling the nation. Okay?
Yeah, can I just add? I remember when we used to go to church, my mum used to go to church, and we had that Christ Church picture with the blue eyes and his pierced hands, Edomite, you know. And we grew up with that. Both me and my brother grew up that. When we used to go to our dad's house, he used to have the queen up in there
So that's what I'm
when she was
saying.
younger.
Yeah, and he would do.
And he's a Judah, as far as I know now. He's a Judah, you know. But he spoke good, eloquent. He could speak patois, but he could also speak eloquent English.
Yeah.
He was, you know, it was kind of crossover. But we grew up with that kind of mentality. So when I saw Jehovah's Witnesses, when I grew up, when you know, got all my foolishness out of me, and I used to see the Jehovah's Witnesses, I used to think, boy, I got to change my ways, and they're the people who got the truth. And eventually I did, and I got with them, you know. So that's you were saying that self-hate was in there, and when you got self-hate, if you're not you don't have no goal, no direction to know where you're going, which a lot of us have done. We done some off things on the left hand side because we didn't care. In our own way, in our indirect way, we was getting back. You know, we was like spirits created for vengeance on the Most High. But then when we wanted to get back right again, we had to get back with the enemy because we had that self-hate.
Yeah,
you know,
that self-hatred goes back to not having an image unto themselves and knowing their power. But yeah, let's just get this, brother.
So this is Hosea chapter 1 verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people.
So what places is talking about? This is talking about the places that we were scattered in. So in the places that we were scattered in, we will lose our heritage. We will lose calling ourselves what we were calling ourselves back in the ancient world. Israelites, in other words, sons of God. All right? But guess what? It says, Israel, he is the sand of the sea and cannot be numbered. But what does it also say? Go on.
That in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power.
Right. In the same place, it will be declared that ye are the sons of the living power. Which that's what the term Israel means. The term Israel means basically sons of God. But when you actually break it down, the word is Yahawah, which means he's the prince of the power. But what is a son of a king? A prince. Go on, brother.
Right. They're saying all people are dead in the man. Because the Arabs here, when I think it was the president or the leader of France, what's his name?
Macron.
Yeah.
Macron.
When I think he took the piss out of Muhammad, man. Oh, yeah. And all the Muslims around the world got in chaos about it, man. So you can't disrespect our prophet and all of that.
Oh,
because they know.
He called the teddy bear Muhammad.
Yeah. Took the piss out of their prophet, man, out of Muhammad, man. And all the Muslims, you know, because they don't have that. Because they're woke in their religion. You know what I mean? But now, we tell our people, listen, Esau, the white man's been taking the piss out of Yahawashi for even putting up the white image of Jesus since for hundreds of years. But our people turn around and say, so, it don't matter. I show you how Jake is dead, man. If you were really woke and you really woke up to the fact that Esau's been taking the piss out of our Messiah, you should be in anarchy, man, just like the Muslims. when that French president took the piss out of Muhammad, man. You know what I mean? They show you them Muslims, they're radical, man. They take their heritage seriously. They take their heritage seriously, man. You ain't fucking with the Muslims, man. You know what I'm saying? But you tell Jake, oh listen, you know, Jesus was really a black man, you know. Jake's like, it doesn't matter what color he is, man. You see, that's why you know you Jake, you don't value yourselves, man. You've been beat down, you know.
Because according to Esau, because they declare what, let me say, Jesus as the greatest man that ever lived, you know. But then the greatest man that's ever lived, they give you a blonde eyes and blue eyes, man. They don't know that the greatest man that ever lived look like you, man. They look like us, you know.
And they
that should be the greatest inspiration to any Israelite man or child, man. You know, the Rastafarians, they take pride in being African and Egyptian.
Yeah.
And that gives them a sense of identity.
Yeah.
When we told you about Yahawashi, that's meant to be the song of your day, man. You're meant to be teaching your children that. You know what I'm saying? That's meant to give you a sense of stability, man. You know what I mean? A foundation, man. A sense of belonging. But then you turn around and say, it doesn't matter.
Even like, because you're talking about the Muslims, right? Now we know that when you get into it, Muhammad was a black man that was set up anyway. But for the sake of what they believe, the Arabic stuff, there's something in Islam called the hadiths, man. The sayings of the Prophet, of the so-called Prophet anyway, and all these other things, the way he used to act and things. And in one of those writings, right, there's a clear description of what Muhammad looked like, man. They even said they counted the strands of his hair, how many they were when he was dead, man. You know? So if they went through all of that because of how he looked, all of that trouble just to document how he so-called looked, why is it that when we say what Yahawashi looks like is such a problem, or you're so technical? The scriptures don't say how many hairs was on Yahawashi's head. It just says that his skin was like burnt brass and had a woolly afro, man.
And it goes back to this one thing, Salaki, brother, because it goes back to this one thing, because Jake has been under this white supremacistic kind of mentality. And this is why when you tell our people who they are and you show them the name of the Lord, they don't want to really adhere to it. But they'll take heed to anything else, even including Islam. They'll take heed to it. But they don't want to include themselves as the holy people.
Yeah.
You know?
When we told her what does Jesus look like, she was like, he could have been Arabic, anything but black. Anything but black. Now here he told her the image or in the Bible, his skin was dark. And still, she was like, he could have been Arabic.
Yeah.
Like, what's up with this Arabic shit, man? The Arabs are Ishmaelites. If she knew the Bible, she know that the Arabs are Ishmaelites. Jesus was not an Ishmaelite, man.
Yeah.
He was from the tribe of Judah. So he wouldn't have been Arabic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because both his parents, in fact, Salaki, give me 1 second. Because his lineage also, I believe when you get into Luke, the 3rd chapter, it tells you.
She was hurt.
Yeah.
She was in pain.
Yeah,
I think she was about to cry.
Yeah,
She was, I saw it, man. That's why tears.
Yeah.
She was holding them back, boy. You know what I'm saying?
She's them soft Edomites, them love everybody Edomites.
Yeah.
You know.
Jesus,
Give you a blanket Edomites. You know?
Yeah.
Charity,
Even the guy was hurt. You could look at it in his eyes.
Yeah. Because they know that if everybody's black, like the Bible is all about blackness, they know that as like so-called white people, they're the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So they're thinking, so where do we fit in?
Well, that's what
he said.
Yeah.
So where do we fit in? That told him slavery. Then he was like, oh shit.
He asked it twice, actually, that's it twice.
Yeah.
Because first time he asked, the question got diverted, and then he asked again, like, you know, where's the answer in it?
But you see, subtle people, they're very actually very aggressive, because
Yes, they are. Oh yes.
when she was getting hurt, that guy, I thought which you and him kind of had a nice little camaraderie. Got you come in the house, right? But and then the other one comes and she goes, oh, come in, right? And it's just like they got a radar for demons.
Well, what's it? Say
She said when the other one he come and took the picture and he took it of you lot, right? He was standing behind her and she wanted to go. She wanted to get out jail card, and she went to hit that guy. Come in, right?
Yeah.
It's like they got a radar for demons.
Yeah.
That's their strength. They keep themselves in a good light, right? But they're always strategizing. thinking of how to start something, but and it don't look, and then they're totally innocent. They never started it. That's what she said to that guy. Come in, and that guy, he come in and he done what he did. But she rather that, if she would have rather that he started to come and lick that, you know, and she would have no problem with that. That's how subtle, and it comes off very, very smooth and subtle and polite. And they walk away, and they haven't done no harm, but they fucking they really would have liked to just burn everybody up.
Of course, I saw that, especially in her. I saw that, man. I saw that malicious demon in her, man. Like she was about ready to phone the police. You know what I'm saying?
And she said that it doesn't matter, because I've been in Christian church around people like that.
That's the now.
Huh?
That's the now.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Jehovah's Witnesses are a lot of those people like that, polite, very good, spoken, eloquent speaking. And she said it doesn't matter, right? But they can't worship in Christian church. Everything is based on the white.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything is based on. She said that she doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Continue. No, go on.
Why do you have images of angels that look like white people in your church? It says it doesn't matter, but you've got a white image in your church, though. So what type of message is that sending to people?
Because it's all about.
They don't have an Arab Jesus.
Exactly. Why do we have Arabic? Exactly. So Jesus was Arabic. Where's the Arabic?
They have to be in power. It empowers them. When they worship, it comes back to them. So it's their empowerment.
Because she was saying, right, that she wouldn't mind if Jesus was black, right, or so-called black. Well, that changes everything.
Definitely.
That changes
that's
where
it.
because he came on the earth through a lineage, man. Which I'm gonna read it. This is Matthew chapter 1, and it ain't gonna go through all the names, but up until around verse around 18, it says, "Now the birth of Yahawashi was on this wise," and this is after. In fact, let me read from verse 16, and it says, "And Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary." Now, when you go to Luke, the 3rd chapter, even though your lineage goes by your father, Joseph and Mary actually came from the same line that separated from David.
Yeah.
Because Mary's father, Heli, goes back to David. So on both sides, Yahawashi was an Israelite, man. And it says, "And Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Yahawashi, which is called Hamashiach." All the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. And from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations. And from the carrying away into Babylon unto Yahawashi are 14 generations. So when we read from verse 1 all the way down, this man begat that man begat that man, all the way down, right, to Yahawashi being a so-called black man, that changes everything. So it's not only about Jesus, it's about his lineage, it's about his tribe, it's about his nation. And then they would know through the prophecies that the salvation is only for one nation.
That's funny because I was looking
It's Jeremiah 14:2, and it says, "Judah mourneth, and the guests thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up."
Wait, read that again.
It's Jeremiah 14:2, and it says, "Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish."
Judah mourneth, and their gates have been brought low. That's what the word language means. Go ahead.
It says, "They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up."
Right? No one's black, no one's white, no one's grey, green. Right? When you look at the word black, the word there's kodar, which means dark skin. They're dark like the ground, man. Okay? So that shows. So on planet Earth, you can either be melanated or non-melanated, man. It's either you're melanated or you got leprosy. So we know that the Jews are dark skinned. And what did it say that in Hebrews? It says that we know that our Lord sprang from Judah.
No, that's
Get that?
Hebrews 7:14, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Well, where you from, bro?
Yeah.
So where's like your dad from, like?
Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
I just done my DNA the other day.
Huh?
I just done my DNA the other day.
Okay.
Come back, they're Indian. 29%, man.
Oh, it might be one of.
They're Indians in Trinidad, isn't it?
Come on.
Well, we know that according to the Bible, when you read, are you familiar with the Bible?
My mom's from Ghana though, still a Shani. Half a Shani,
Yeah.
and then half European.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're if you know about the Bible, that's basically a black man's book. The Bible is a black man's book. Alright, so let's get that Hebrews.
Hebrews 7 and 14. For it is evident that our Lord Yahawashi sprang out of the tribe of Judah.
Right, so he had to have been dark like the ground too. He had to have been dark like the ground as well, man. You know what I mean?
This is Matthew 1 and 1, and it says the book of the generation of Yahawashi. It says the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Judas and his brethren. And Judas begat Perez, and Perez Zerah of Tamar, and Perez begat Heshron, and Heshron begat Abraham. And then, so.
But this is the generations of Yahawashi, man. This is his gene.
So, because Yahawashi, his record was there. The whole evidence of who his line from his all the way to Abraham, his record was there. It was written. He had his record, man. Because that's why, like, if you go in Timothy, it tells you about about back and forth with the records and so on and so forth. But with Yahawashi, his record was there. He had his whole lineage from his mother's side and his father's side, going back to Abraham, going back to David, going back to Solomon. His whole record, all the fathers in between that generation, his record was there, man. You know?
This is Ezra 2 verse 61. And of the children of the priests, the children of Habiah, that the priests were Levites. Yeah. The children of Koz, the children of Barzillai, which took a wife of the daughters of Barzillai, the Gileadites, I was called after their name. These sought their register among those that were reckoned by a genealogy, but they were not found. Therefore were they as polluted, put from the priesthood. So they tried to find their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but you couldn't find their register. All right, because you all so there was like a record, man, showing what your line. Okay, going back to the 12 patriarchs, man. Okay, Judah, Levi, Benjamin, Simeon, Naphtali, so forth and so on. And you had to add record in it, physical record.
Because it's like, how do we know you're not a heathen, man? Because you go check that you go Edomites that look like us today.
Exactly.
So the priests, they were strict with that thing, man, back in the day. They were strict with it. And then even in the time of Yahawashi, they were strict with it.
Right.
That's why they're preventing the other Israelites from coming in. Like, listen, how do we know you're Israelites, man?
Come.
You know?
Yeah.
You can't come. Heathens could not go into the temple, period.
Yeah.
That was the Israelites only.
That was ancient tradition, man.
Yeah.
That's part of what made us a people, a holy nation. That's what set us apart from the heathens. That he wasn't supposed to come in among us and pollute our sanctuary, man.
And that's why they got mad at Paul when Paul brought all of those heathens in there. When I mean heathens, I'm talking about Israelite foreigners in there. Man, they went crazy. They persecuted Paul and everything. They persecuted all of the guys that he was following, him. Because it seemed like, basically, because like you were saying, they weren't registered.
Right.
They weren't really known among Israel. Like, who is this guy? Who are these group of people coming to church?
Let me get that. That's Ephesians. Let me get Ephesians. Hold on.
I've got something in John 10 and 16.
Go on.
This is John 10 and 16. Another sheep I have, which are not of his fold.
Take photos of the sign, but not us.
I'm going to make a little video.
No video.
What for?
That's okay.
Give him the
And
the
other
website.
sheep I have, which are not of his
the
fold. Rem also I must
You want
bring,
the website?
and
Where
they
we
shall
are
hear my
on YouTube?
voice. And
You
they
want
shall
it?
be one fold
You
and
can
one
watch us on
shepherd.
YouTube.
I like friendliness, man. I don't even like, man's gonna put this up on the site. It's just a little thing, bro. Just give me a little picture.
Should I go into that
It's a
again?
nice memory for myself.
John, this is
We're on
John
YouTube
10
though,
and
yeah?
16.
Just letting you know.
It's alright. Just leave it.
And other sheep I have, which are not of his fold. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice.
Right, that sheep was talking about the northern kingdom.
Yeah.
That was talking about the northern kingdom. Alright? So let's go. Let me read. This is Ephesians 2, and this is 2 verse 11. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who were called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh, made by hands. What's that talking about? That's talking about, because Paul is writing an epistle to brothers in Ephesus, in the church in Ephesus, letting you know that, listen, you guys, you were living like Gentiles, man. Right. Okay? And you were what? They said, in the flesh you were called uncircumcision, so you was called the uncircumcision. Because you were raised up without the law. Without knowledge of the law. You were raised up knowing the customs and the spiritualities of the heathens. Right? Who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands. So the Jews of the circumcision were calling all those Israelite foreigners heathens, man, uncircumcised. 12, verse 12. That at that time ye were without Hamashiach. Okay? Being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. So they were aliens from the commonwealth of Israel because their register wasn't found among the rest of the records then, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they were put forth there. Look, they wasn't recognized as even being Israelites, because at the end of the day, if we can't find your genealogy on record, then how do we know you even one of us, man?
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean?
After generation and generation and generation, even just the memory of it, man. You know, your parents taught you you're Greek all along, that record is gone, and then eventually, man, it's like you grow up and like Jack now, man, they're growing up, there is nothing at all other than us telling them to point the fact that they're Israelites, man.
Even this guy, he said he had to go and get his blood test.
Yeah, DNA
just to find out where he comes from.
Right.
Because that's what happens, you become aliens from the commonwealth of where you originally came from, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why if you look at over here, right, a lot of the like West Africans, they look down at like the Jamaicans, they look down at them, man. That's happened to me. Yeah. They look down at them, man, because we come from slavery and that. I've been directly insulted by Jakes in Africa, man, because they look at us like we're the slaves and that they got no respect.
Yeah.
But little did they know there's no difference. Because we all have, my ancestors is their ancestors. Their ancestors are my ancestors. You get what I mean? So we're all one nation.
And if I may interject as well, because this is where the Christians got it all wrong. Because when they read the New Testament goes into how because they're reading it wrong, obviously, and you can understand why they would be reading it wrong, because when you read the New Testament, it talks about the Gentiles getting a part of the salvation, but in all reality, what Paul and the disciples were doing, what they were doing is they were going to, as the brother was speaking about, going towards Israelites that were outside of Israel. So when you read the New Testament, it talks about the Gentile this and the Gentile that. But no, they weren't actual Gentiles. They were Israelite Gentiles because they've lost and discontinued from their heritage. And they became likened unto those people that were there. That's even in Deuteronomy 28. You got it.
So let me finish this and we'll go back to it.
Okay.
Well, let me read verse 12 again. That at that time ye were without Hamashiach.
Right.
Being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel.
Right.
And strangers from the covenants of promise,
right?
Having no hope and without the Most High in the world.
Yeah, so they were strangers. They became strangers away from the commonwealth of Israel. But that goes all the way back to the curse in Deuteronomy 28. If you can read that, brother. Just real quick, and I'll give it back to you.
This is Deuteronomy 28 and 64.
Yeah.
And the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even to the other. And there shall thou serve other gods.
And even that was going on even during the time of the apostle, 2,000 years ago. Now, I believe Paul was teaching around